Okay, it's your turn now. You Hello.
Hello, you want winter's opening? Does anyone...
Oh yeah, okay, that'd be nice, thanks. You're world famous now.
Yes.
So you have to inspire me with some questions. You can ask about anything except horses and dogs. Have you got any questions? Anything about what we've done? Or anything about the Taiji form, or Qigong, or whatever?
Is Wudang internal from the beginning?
Pardon?
I.e., from when they got up to number 12, did
Wudang?
they figure out that it was like Tai Chi, it was, look, there's something happening?
Yeah.
Or did they then go, this is happening right from number 1? Like
The internal part.
Of the 12
Yeah.
forms?
Well, I mean, the original internal form was the Wudang. There were two schools, Wudang and Shaolin. Shaolin was the un-internal school. It was the hard school from which things like karate and have come. The other school was the Wudang. That was the meditative school, the internal school, the acupuncture school. They did all the stuff that we do. And so right from the very start, they knew about energy. The original founder, Chang Sun Fang, was a genius, obviously, and so he knew about energy flows in the human body, and he based everything that he did upon the energy flows in the human body. He even bribed jailers to get really bad guys and try point strikes on them. So, oh, dead, oh, good one. Write that down. Oh, only fainted. No, not very good. So everything we have comes from him. There are schools who say that Chang Sun Fan didn't even exist, and their reason for saying he didn't exist is because there's no mention of Taiji back then. There's no mention of Taiji when the Chen family were alive either, because Taiji wasn't even invented. The name Taiji Chuan, Supreme Ultimate Boxing, wasn't even invented until the late 1900s by a man called Wu Chenchuan, who thought that it was the Supreme Ultimate Boxing. It was rather egotistical. So he called the art that he learned from his father, who learned it from Yang Luchan, he called it the Supreme Ultimate Boxing. So Yang Luchan, who was dead by then, if you went to Yang Luchan and said, hey, I'm doing your system, Taiji Chuan, he'd say, what? Teach me. I want to learn the Supreme Ultimate Boxing. They said, no, it's yours. He said, oh no, I invented Hao Chuan, which is loose boxing. And if you look at Taiji from the perspective of how we've been doing it, this whole camp, it's loose. It's the whole thing. So you do your hands like that and they just go by themselves. That's what loose boxing is. But you can't really see loose boxing. There's nothing loose in that. It's all controlled and metered. So it was loose boxing at Yang Luchan's level, which is the level that we're learning from today. So yeah, to answer your question, yes, Wudang was internal right from the start. Now, although Chang Sun Fan, and he had ancestors, for God's sake. There's a huge tomb of Chang Sun Fang in China. Spread the rumour, as I said, that he had nothing to do with Taiji because there was not Taiji written on his tomb. Everything else was written on his tomb, but not Taiji. See, because Taiji wasn't invented back then. And there's no such thing as Wudang Taiji, because Taiji wasn't invented back in Wudang's day, about 700 years ago. It wasn't even invented. So you can't, a lot of people like to say, oh, I teach Wudang Taiji, because that's where Taiji came from. Taiji didn't come from Wudang. Wudang came from Wudang, not Taiji. It's an ancestor of the Wudang stuff, but Taiji was not invented on Wudang Shan, on the Wudang mountain. See, you ask a little question, and you wind me up, you see. Any other question? Yes?
Yeah, I've got one. Why do you, in Bagua, in the normal circular form, why do you brush your feet across like this?
Why do you brush your feet in the normal Bagua walking, and we don't in the little dragon form? Okay, very, very important reason for brushing your feet, and that is to teach your hips how to have devastating kicks just from here. So that's what we learn in brushing the ankles. You learn the correct hip move. The only way to walk around the circle in Bagua in the correct manner, well, 99% of the people pick up their back heel and just walk. Even if they do brush, I've not seen many brushing anyway, even if they do brush, they still just walk. That's not teaching you anything. You've lost the torque already as soon as you pick your heel up. If I'm to brush my ankles together and keep my rear heel on the ground as I pick my foot up, I have to twist my waist. Like, can't do it. I'll have to do this foot. Okay, yeah, I'm going this way. There's a circle. So I'm going to have to turn my hip. Otherwise, I'm just going to have to pick my heel down. If I'm forced to keep my heel down and now bring the foot through like this, see what body movement I had to do? That's teaching you, but from the front foot as well. So in Bagua, we have that same hip movement. We can get devastating power. No one expects you to kick him with the front foot. They always keep from the, someone's attacking you, they know you're not going to kick him with the front foot because there's no power. But little do they know, there's the torque and there's the hip movement from the working into his knee. And it's the same when we walk with the, that's that one, when we walk with the other foot, in like that, we brush. It's exactly the same principle. I'll do it on this leg now. So you have to twist the weights left in order to get the foot moving. See that? And then it comes out in an arc onto the circumference. So you're doing this with your hips. So that's that kick that we do at the very start of the Bagua form, which is in that way. And it's exactly the same principle. You might be just standing like this, and you can get tremendous power from the front leg kicking that way. And that's a devastating kick. That'll break someone's leg if you hit them in the right place, and on the side of the knee. So that's why we brush, and that's why we walk in that peculiar manner, and that's why we do not walk like this. Or we do not walk in any other strange way. We have a reason for walking, and that it's all written in the Bagua classics. That which the great old masters left to us to study, it's written in those classics. To do that. And you must mud step, and you must hear the sound, they say, of, it was written way, way back, and they translated it way, way back. It says, you must hear the sound of your pantaloons brushing together. That's a very clear classic. All right? I can't see that doing that sort of Bagua walk. Okay. Okay, when you're doing single whip, we did single whip earlier. Don't forget, when you finish single whip, it's like an arrow going through the air like this. That's how an arrow goes through the air. It doesn't just go straight. The force coming from the rear bends the arrow, and then it stretches like a worm, like a caterpillar. That's how an arrow goes through the air in slow motion. So that's how we do our single whip and our brush knee twist step posture. You know, we just right down low, so place the heel. As you're coming forward, I'll exaggerate this. The left hand goes down, up, down, like a sine wave. But someone watching maybe couldn't even see it. So if I do the left hand at least correctly, see where my head is turned? You never ever do single whip like this. It's not a bow stance, it's a single whip stance. It's much longer. So the hips are slightly to the rear, sorry, slightly to the side. The rule is your nose points where your coccyx is pointing. You look out the corner of your eye at the tip of your left finger.